Namaste, Jai Hind, you're on The Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narsimhan coming to you live from the newsroom here at CNN News 18. Ladies and gentlemen, there's plenty to share, so let's get to it straight up. First up, this is a situation where it is a PoK, where it's a Pakistan situation brewing, and this is politically. A lot has been said by the PoK puppet Prime Minister who's been fixed there because he believed he is being treated badly by the Pak Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. This war of words erupted between Shehbaz Sharif and the Prime Minister of Pak-occupied Kashmir, Tanveer Ilyas Khan, at the inauguration of the Mangla Dam hydroelectric power plant in Pak-occupied Kashmir. Sardar Tanveer Ilyas Khan heckled Pak Prime Minister for not letting him speak and ignoring the plight and contributions of the people of PoK. In an angry rant after the spat, Tanveer Ilyas Khan called Shehbaz Sharif indecent, illiterate and a thief. He accused Sharif of acting like a king, insulting democracy and the people of Pak-occupied Kashmir, adding that he is not fit even to be a chowkidar. Interestingly, Tanveer Ilyas Khan hails from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, which is Imran Khan's party. Let's listen into this entire spat. A lot of choice words have been used and expletives have also come into the play. We have tried to sanitize the conversation as much as we can to make it able for anybody to watch it here on television. Listen in.
I'm very grateful to all of you. जरा बैठ जी जरा आप नहीं बात में बैठेंगे प्लीज मैं आपसे बात करेंगे ना जी मैं बात करेंगे आपसे सो प्लीज मेरी बात सुनिए जरा आजाद कश्मीर के लिए आपसे बात करेंगे प्राइम साहब बैठे आप बात करेंगे
शहबाज शरीफ का जो मेरे साथ रहा जो उसका अंदाज था जो रवैया था ना जैसे वो यहाँ पे चौधरी और जागीरदार ये आतंक अमेज रवैया इंतहाई बदतमीजाना कोता अंदेश अक्ल से पैदल शऊर नाम की चीज उनके कोसों दूर होगी उनको समझ नहीं कि शऊर क्या होता इल्म क्या होता फरासत किसको कहते हैं सियासियात और जमहूरियत किसका नाम कुछ रवायात और कुछ चीजों का उसको पता ही नहीं है और मैं ऐसे आदमी को ऐसी चाहिए तो चौकीदार लगने के काबिल नहीं आदमी ये क्या चीज है दुनिया जान का उसको याद आई कि किस किस का शुक्रिया अदा करना नहीं आए तो कश्मीरी याद है तो मेरा ये था कि मैं खड़ा होकर ये कहूंगा कि इज्जत माफ जनाब वज़ीर आज़म वर्दी प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान लेकिन उस कमबख्त ने चोर ने अक्ल से पैदल आदमी ने मौका ही नहीं दिया उसने मुझे टोकना शुरू कर दिया वज़ीर आज़म को ने अपनी इज्जत मैंने वहां पे बचाई है
And after that kind of language that was used for Shehbaz Sharif by Ilyas Khan, now after this entire spat, the Islamabad police have sealed the Centaurus Mall in Islamabad, which is owned by Tanveer Ilyas Khan. And this is an overnight raid where they have cited safety violations. So look what is playing out. A PoK versus Pak situation, a PTI, Pak Tehreek-e-Insaf versus the opposition-led coalition situation where Shehbaz Sharif represents the PMLN, and of course that's a coalition which also has the likes of PPP as part of it. So this is what you do. You call me expletives, you call me choicest of names and adjectives, then this is what will happen. Your mall will be sealed. And that's exactly this big Centaurus Mall has now been sealed for safety violations. These are visuals of the mall being sealed a day after Tanveer Ilyas Khan went berserk with his verbal tirade against Shehbaz Sharif. Alok Bansalji, Director, India Foundation, with us, and Dr. Tara Karta, former Director, National Security Council Secretariat, also with us. Would you just label it to a political fight, or is this a manifestation of a certain level of frustration in PoK? And will this PoK versus Pak situation further boil? Alok Bansalji.
See, this spat is very, very important. Firstly, it actually shatters the facade which Pakistan has created, whereby they call them AJK, Azad. Azad my foot. You could see the way PoK Prime Minister was actually consigned to the sidelines during that inauguration ceremony of 5th and 6th unit of the Mangla Dam. And his frustration, because Shehbaz Sharif thanked everybody except for the people whose land was submerged. People of Mirpur, he did not. And that's where I think the PoK Prime Minister got irritated. And then, of course, what all he said is in public domain. So this shows, I think, the anger that has been actually building up within the people of these occupied territories has actually manifested. And because the Tanveer was aware of the anger, he wanted that at least Shehbaz Sharif should pay the lip service to them by saying that I accept their sacrifices, which he did not. And that's why you saw this eruption and calling of bad words, calling him chore and not even capable of being a chowkidar. So that shows his level of frustration. Of course, there is a political divide in Pakistan that we know because he is a PTI chap and Shehbaz Sharif is PMLN, which of course is all pervasive at this point of time in Pakistan. Most of the provincial governments are PTI governments and their chief ministers, and in this particular case, the so-called prime minister, are averse to Shehbaz Sharif and his government.
But in this case, this is also, was Shehbaz Sharif a little more civil in his response to Tanveer Ilyas compared to the other way around, Dr. Tara Karta? Or do you see this snowballing into a major fight and a certain amount of civic unrest? Because that region, POJK, has been rife with a lot of civic unrest and dissonance with the PAK military and the PAK establishment.
Yeah, whatever the case may be, I think it's going a bit over the top to seal an entire mall because this man made the so-called Prime Minister made his differences clear. And his differences, as Alok says, they are genuine problems that so many people of Mirpur have been lost their lands in 2 successive waves. It's not even one. They haven't got the money they were promised. And he says, I think some couple of billion rupees was promised by the PTI government, which obviously the next government didn't give. Now what you've done is you've closed an entire mall and driven people out of business because of this, what this man said. You know, that is, one is of course the fact that he owns a mall at all, which is an interesting fact. But the other is the overreaction by, I think, probably the establishment in saying, how dare you, confront the PAK Prime Minister, and what that just shows what kind of independence there is. And also, it's worth recalling that this Sardar Tanveer Ilyas got a total of, I think, 33 votes or something. He was booted out by his own party. The earlier Prime Minister was pushed out by his own party. And this man brought in by decree from Imran Khan with 33 votes. So he'll do pretty much anything to get some popularity there.
But the choice of words, this kind of tone and tonality, is this again is this a trend that you see, that political parties that are opposing each other get downright dirty and nasty in the kind of words that they use? Or is there more to it than just a political fight? Did Tanveer Ilyas use these kind of words for Shehbaz Sharif because he is from PMLN and the PTI largely blames Nawaz Sharif, that is Shehbaz's brother, for orchestrating this entire dethroning of Imran Khan? Does it stem from there? Did Shehbaz Sharif not want to be seen sharing the dais with somebody who's from PTI, the arch enemy? Or is this the second-hand treatment given to POJK all along? While to the world they try and portray it as Azad, here it is nothing but the behavior of an occupier, which they truly are.
Yeah, I think your second...
Alokji and then Taraji. Yeah.
This is what I was trying to say, that Pakistan has always treated these regions as occupied territories, colonies. In fact, there have been occasions when the so-called AJK president from office has been taken to jail. And we have seen the way they have dealt with him. His private property has been captured in Islamabad, the mall has been arrested. So this is the whole facade which they try to project to the world. The so-called Azad, an independent state. This whole facade has gone. You saw the way he was seated, the way he was being ignored by Shehbaz Sharif. And the language, of course, as you said, PTI has been extremely vociferous, and Imran himself has not been a miser with words. He has called them anything and everything. And I think as far as Sharifs are concerned, for him, they are chores and dakus. And that's what he has been saying repeatedly. And I think those terminologies have been used by his henchmen. Shehbaz Sharif, of course, I do agree, has been a little more civic, but Shehbaz Sharif has never been a mass leader. He has never been a mass leader. He has never been a great orator. And he, unlike his brother, he has generally been considered a mellower person, more pro-establishment man who is willing to unlock horns with them as compared to his brother. So that is his nature. But this sort of an event shows the fissures between not only the two political parties, but also shows the growing anguish within the population of POJK against the Pakistani occupation.
Ji, quick word, Taraji, before we move on to Jammu and Kashmir. There are developments there, but you were saying something. Ji.
No, I think it's been the treatment meted out always, to earlier Farooq Haider, who was an earlier premier. The way he was treated by Islamabad was absolutely shameful. Though in this case, I agree with Alok, Shehbaz Sharif is on the whole a more decent, quiet man rather than this normal politician you find. But there is a huge, what shall I say, there's a huge difference in the way we would treat a chief minister in public and the way these people treat the PoK, the so-called prime minister. There is a massive difference.
Ji. We're quickly shifting focus to Jammu and Kashmir and the latest that's coming through. There has been an internal security meeting that's been held after there was tension that gripped the Jammu and Kashmir, largely with the Lashkar-e-Taiba's front, the TRF, putting out the names of 56 Kashmiri Pandits and saying that they will be targeted. These Kashmiri Pandits had been sent into Jammu and Kashmir specifically on government appointments, and they were government Pandit employees whose list has come out. There was a high-level meeting on the security situation. The meeting was chaired by the Union Home Secretary Ajay Kumar Bhalla, RNAW Chief and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval were also present at the meeting. On Monday, the Pandit community had staged a protest seeking relocation from Kashmir to Jammu due to the terror threat. Now, with this fresh threat, they have now intensified the entire agitation that's happened. Alok Bansalji is with us, Tara Kartaji also with us. Taraji, how would you see this? Is this this rabble-rousing attempt? Clearly, there are moles within who have furbished these names and passed it on to these terror outfits. But the anxiety within the Pandit community, especially in Kashmir, what can be done to assuage them? Should they insist on coming back, or should there be some hard steps that would be taken to ensure that no one dares to try and threaten them again?
I don't think their coming back is, sort of leaving Kashmir is going to solve anything. It is, a lot in Delhi, a lot of hard work has gone into making sure that they go back and they live peacefully. Second is that we expected this, right? We knew that this would happen, that there would be attempts by terror groups to prevent this happening. That destroys all Pakistan's plans if they become one homogeneous community again, which at one time they were, as we know. The Muslims and the Hindu Pandits lived peacefully together for years. So if the NSA is landed up there, then obviously they are going to take very tough measures. I think the Pandit community can be assured that whatever can be done will be done. They should not leave. They should not be in that. It's easy for me to say, staying here, right? But still, it's not. You can't walk away from your home. It's tragic.
No, because Alokji, when questioned about overreaction of the Pandit community, especially since the abrogation of Article 370, the number of Kashmiri Pandits who have been targeted is worrying, yes, but those numbers, there are many who believe that there are far many more other Kashmiris, non-Pandit Kashmiris and non-Pandit Indian citizens who have been also targeted by the terrorists. So should everybody leave Jammu and Kashmir and leave the valley? Is that the solution? But the Pandit community is also very strongly argued, Alokji, that this has been rushed. The system has not been cleansed and the atmosphere is not right for syncretic existence. The Islamist bent and thought process, that soch continues to remain in Kashmir. Until that is removed or that is weeded out, syncretism cannot return. Alokji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, my was mute. So I just wanted to say that the Pandits have been threatened, and I think this is an attempt at psychological warfare where the list has been published. This is to put pressure on them, because this puts enormous pressure on these people, because they feel their family members get worried, because once a name has been published, they are obviously threatened. So Pandits are threatened, but nobody should leave Kashmir, because see, foolproof security will never be there. The government must take measures. Firstly, who has published this list? Those people must be identified and eliminated. Who's trying to disseminate this list? They also must be taken to task. Now, all these factors need to be done. The government needs to bolster their security. But by no stretch of imagination should we look at evacuating everybody from Kashmir. I think that would be a big defeatist step. Yes, those who are threatened must be provided foolproof security, and that is what the government needs to do. And as you rightly brought out, I think the number of people who have been killed by militants who belong to Kashmiri Pandit community are probably lesser than those from other communities if we take the numbers alone.
No, but the larger apprehension is this is how it all started late in the 80s and it then started building up. So is there going to be a repeat? Clearly, times are different. The approach of the establishment is different, but the worries remain. And of course, it is innocents who are dying to Pak-sponsored bullets at the hands of these terrorists. We've just got news coming through, and we try and go across to Arnima for this. Sources are saying that in this entire review meeting, which had the presence of not just the Union Home Secretary, the NSA, the RAW Chief, there are certain aspects that were discussed, mainly speeding up of the cases, pendency of cases in the courts, trying those who've been booked under UAPA, improving the rate of conviction that's been discussed. And also there has been talk about security to the Pandits and non-locals that's been discussed, along with the frequency of the drone drops, arms and and narcotics or drugs. So there are multiple layers to which this entire security review has looked at, and they've looked at a comprehensive review. All aspects have been spoken about. We'll try and go across to Arnima in just a bit, and we'll also come to the sudden spate of seizures that have also been made. That's the next story here on the Nation at 5. But first to Arunima. Arunima, so clearly cognizance has been taken of this letter, this threat note. The challenge is to weed out the OGWs, weed out the sympathizers within the system, because this list has been leaked.
Yes, and also to look at the arms and ammunition, the logistics, the funding that is coming in for those who are carrying out the terror act. The conspiracy, of course, is being hashed from across the border. The conspiracy has as its part to drop in narcotics, to drop in arms and ammunition via drone. And because dropping it in Jammu and Kashmir is becoming difficult, so Punjab seems to be the latest target. So what was also discussed was as to how to prevent the drone droppings of arms and ammunition in Punjab and then further smuggling of it from Punjab to Jammu and Kashmir. That is the first step. And then the next step, of course, is plugging of that leak. That is something that the government is quite concerned about. Kashmiri organizations have come out and said that, you have to make people accountable. And what was also discussed was not just Kashmiri Pandits, but also the security of the non-locals. Because the hybrid terrorists, as the police calls them, have gone after non-locals as well, people from other parts of the country who've gone to Kashmir to earn a livelihood. So all of this was discussed. And an important point that was raised was the UAPA cases and low rate of conviction. As per NCRB data, 95% or more of the total number of UAPA cases registered are in Jammu and Kashmir, but the rate of conviction is very low. So the Home Secretary also wanted to know what is being done about that. The State Investigation Agency is one answer, and there were issues with local service providers that were also flagged off.
Well, thank you for your input. So comprehensive review that's been undertaken, Dr. Tarakarta, but there have to be some concrete steps, because if Jammu and Kashmir is going to move towards elections come spring, once the delimitation exercise is over, the voter base and all of that is calculated, and if Jammu and Kashmir is going to have an elected government, then all stakeholders, all those people who have roots in Kashmir should have the right to vote and also live in Kashmir, just like they do across the rest of the country. There are perhaps, will you see that these are also elements who are being goaded to try and create this atmosphere so that return of all people who have roots in Kashmir is also denied? Because that will also skew the political narrative of those who have for long supported soft separatism and also fanned this terrorism.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, actually. I was just going to say that there is a lot of other sources also who will support this kind of fear mongering, kind of thing. But also, I think what you said earlier, that the center also needs to make sure that this hardcore Hindutva, so-called quote-unquote Hindutva agenda is not pushed, because they themselves, the Pandits in Kashmir themselves, don't want that, because they want to sort of meld with the society. Third point is, I don't know if this is relevant, but it seems to me this is happening post the new Pakistan Army Chief taking over. Whether that has an angle, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, they just don't seem to stop their obsession with something that is not theirs. and they also have totally mismanaged something that they are squatting on. So that's the reality with the Pakistanis, and in the process, जो उनके 4 सूबे हैं, वो भी that are also fast hurtling towards balkanization, and the nation is heading towards bankruptcy. But that's a story for another day and a discussion on another day. But for the moment, thank you very much, Alok Bansalji and Dr. Tara Karta. Always a pleasure speaking with you. We're going to take a very short break. Stay with us.